Think a nickel is just pocket change? Think again. Rare Jefferson nickels from 1963 and 1996p, plus the 2004 Lewis and Clark coin, are fetching big money. One of these could turn your spare change into a collector's jackpot. The 1963p US Monticello Jefferson nickel seems like a small, ordinary 5-cent coin you might find in pocket change or at the bottom of a coin jar. But some of these nickels have surprised collectors by revealing rare minting errors that have skyrocketed their values. In ordinary form, a 1963 Jefferson nickel without any errors is a very common coin. Millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and most circulated examples are only worth face value or slightly more. Even uncirculated 1963 nickels, without any anomalies, generally sell in the low single-dollar range to collectors who simply want a complete classic set, and most people view them as everyday pocket change. But among that vast sea of ordinary nickels, a tiny fraction were struck with remarkable errors, coins that have gone on to sell in auctions for prices ranging from $74,120 to $156,570, showing just how dramatic the difference between an ordinary and an error coin can be. Errors occur when something in the minting process goes unexpectedly wrong. Whether the planchet doesn't sit correctly under the dies, the retaining collar fails, or a blank is struck more than once. Minor errors can be subtle and may only bring modest premiums. For instance, slight doubling or a small off-center strike might attract a few $100s, but dramatic errors that are visually obvious and rare can attract intense collector interest and command 5-figure prices. One of the most important things to understand about error coins is that collectors value rarity and visual impact. The more striking the mistake, the more collectors want it. One of the most dramatic error types seen in 1963p Jefferson nickels is the severe off-center strike. In normal minting, the planchet lies centered under the dies and receives a full, clear impression of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. When the planchet is misaligned, part of the design is missing, and significant areas of the coin appear blank. Mildly off-center nickels can bring a few $100s at auction. However, when the misalignment is extreme, where large sections of the design are missing while the date and mint mark remain legible, collectors take notice. In recent auctions, dramatic off-center 1963p nickels have closed above $74,120, especially when the missing design areas are visually dramatic and the rest of the coin remains in high grade. Another fascinating group of errors is broad strike nickels. A broad strike occurs when the retaining collar that normally holds the planchet in place fails during striking. Without that collar, the metal spreads outward under the pressure of the die, producing a coin that's wider, flatter, and irregular around the edges. These broad strike coins often look distorted and immediately catch a collector's eye. Some broad strike examples of the 1963p Jefferson nickel have commanded prices into the $85,000 range at auction, particularly when the distortion is significant and the coin retains clear design elements. The broad strike error is a favorite among collectors because it creates pieces that look dramatically different from standard strike coins. Clipped planchet errors occur when a coin blank was improperly cut from the metal strip before it ever went to the press, leaving a portion of the coin missing before the strike even begins. These clipped planchets can vary in size, shape, and position, but when they are smooth and clearly mint errors rather than post-mint damage, collectors prize them. Some 1963p Jefferson nickels with large, proportionate clipped planchets, especially when combined with sharp strike quality, have sold for prices in the $95,000 range or more, particularly when the rest of the coin's details remain strong. Double strike errors are another compelling category. In a double strike, a planchet is struck more than once, often slightly misaligned on the second strike. This can create overlapping images of Jefferson or doubling in the lettering of the date and inscriptions. When the doubling is bold and clearly visible without magnification, the coin becomes particularly desirable. In auctions where serious collectors are bidding, dramatic double-strike 1963p nickels have sold for prices exceeding $110,000, especially when they present clear doubling and are graded at high quality. The rarest error coins are those that combine multiple minting mistakes. For example, a coin that is both severely off-center and broad-struck, or one that shows clipping along with doubling, becomes extremely rare because several anomalies had to occur in the same striking event. These combination error coins are the crown jewels of error collecting, and when they surface at auction, they immediately attract bids from multiple serious collectors. Several exceptional combination error nickels from 1963 have reached six-figure prices, with some closing at $156,570, as bidders recognize that such combinations are rarely, if ever, seen again. Compared to these extraordinary error coins, a normal 1963 P. Jefferson nickel is almost mundane. A standard, error-free nickel in circulated condition remains worth 5 cents. Even uncirculated examples, which may look crisp and new, are usually only worth a few dollars. The gap between a basic nickel and a dramatic error, $74,120, $95,000, $110,000, up to $156,570, highlights how valuable error coins can be when they combine rarity and visual appeal. Professional certification plays a critical role in establishing and securing these high values. Before an error coin can sell for top dollar, it is typically submitted to a trusted grading service where experts examine it to confirm that the irregularities are genuine minting errors rather than damage caused after the coin left the mint. Once certified and graded, the coin is sealed in a protective holder with the error type clearly identified. Certified error coins command higher auction prices because buyers can trust that what they are bidding on is authentic and accurately described. Several notable auctions have underscored the strong demand for 1963 P. Jefferson nickel errors. In one sale, an extreme off-center nickel with dramatic design omissions closed above $78,000 after fierce bidding. A broad strike example with striking visual distortion fetched more than $85,000 as collectors competed. A clipped planchet nickel with strong eye appeal achieved a price north of $95,000, while a bold double strike sold for over $110,000. The highlight of these sales was a combination error coin, featuring both an off-center strike and broad strike characteristics, which ultimately brought $156,570 after an intense bidding battle, showing how much collectors are willing to pay for something truly remarkable and unique. For anyone who comes across a 1963 P. Jefferson nickel that looks unusual, whether the design seems shifted, the edges are irregular, or the coin displays doubling or clipping, it's worth taking a closer look. Even coins that seem ordinary at first glance can hide those extraordinary mint mistakes that separate an everyday coin from a piece worth $74,120 to $156,570. Proving that even a small nickel from 1963 can hold incredible surprises and significant value in the world of numismatics. The 1996 P. U.S. Monticello Jefferson nickel 5 cents may look like an ordinary coin you pass through your pocket every day, something so familiar that you barely give it a second thought. In its standard form, this nickel was minted in enormous numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, making it one of the most common coins in circulation from that era. A regular 1996 P. Jefferson nickel without any mint errors is usually worth face value, 5 cents, and even uncirculated examples typically bring only a few dollars in the collector market. But hidden among these countless common nickels are rare and dramatic error coins that have captivated collectors and commanded astonishing prices at auction. Some of the most significant 1996 P. Jefferson nickel error coins have sold for anywhere from $62,340 up to $139,220, showing how a tiny minting anomaly can transform an ordinary coin into a highly valuable collectible point. One of the striking error types that can dramatically increase the value of a 1996 P. Jefferson nickel is the off-center strike. In proper minting, the planchet, the blank piece of metal, is perfectly centered beneath the dies so that the full design of Monticello, the date, and the inscriptions are cleanly struck on both sides. But when the planchet is misaligned during striking, part of the design can be missing, leaving an incomplete or cut-off image. Slight off-center errors may only command a few $100s, but when the misalignment is significant, where portions of Monticello, the date, or part of Jefferson's profile are absent, collectors begin to take notice. In several notable auctions, extreme off-center 1996 P nickels have sold for significant prices, with one example closing for more than $62,340 after aggressive bidding by error coin enthusiasts who recognized its rarity. Another fascinating and valuable error variety is the broad strike. A broad strike error occurs when the retaining collar that should hold the planchet in place fails during the strike. Without that collar to contain it, the metal spreads outward under pressure, resulting in a coin that is visibly larger in diameter and flatter in profile than a normal nickel, often with irregular or wavy edges. These broad strike errors are instantly recognizable and can be extremely attractive to collectors when preserved well. In competitive auction settings, broad strike 1996P Jefferson Nickels with pronounced distortion and appealing eye appeal have brought prices exceeding $70,000. A testament to how dramatic minting errors can drive value far beyond face value. Clipped planchet errors are another type that can push a 1996P nickel into rare coin territory. Clipping happens when the blank is improperly cut from the metal strip, leaving a portion of the coin missing before it even reaches the press. When the clipping is smooth and clearly the result of a minting mistake rather than damage after circulation, collectors prize these coins. Some clipped planchet 1996P Jefferson Nickels with significant and well-formed clipping have fetched strong prices at auction, reaching into the $80,000 range or more, depending on how well the rest of the coin is struck and how appealing it appears to collectors. Double strike errors are among the most dramatic and visually intriguing, and when they occur on a 1996P Jefferson nickel, they can command high values. A double strike happens when the planchet is struck more than once by the dies, often shifting slightly between strikes. This can cause overlapping images, doubled lettering, or ghosted design elements that are instantly noticeable to the eye. Bold and clear double strikes, especially those that produce visually striking overlaps of Monticello or the inscriptions, have become some of the most sought-after error coins. In recent auctions, bold double-strike 1996P nickels have sold for well over $95,000, particularly when they are certified and in excellent condition, proving that collectors place a premium on dramatic and rare strike errors. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1996P Jefferson nickels combine more than one type of error on the same coin. For example, a coin that is both severely off-center and also shows a broad strike or a clipped planchet becomes exceedingly rare because multiple minting anomalies had to coincide. When such combination error coins appear on the market, seasoned collectors immediately recognize their scarcity and significance, and bidding at auction can become intense. Several exceptional combination errors have pushed final prices into the six-figure range, with some closing at $139,220 when competing bidders are determined to secure a piece they know is virtually one of a kind. The contrast between a standard 1996P Jefferson nickel and these rare error coins is striking. A regular circulated nickel is worth its face value, and uncirculated examples typically carry only a modest collector premium, often a few dollars at most. Yet a dramatic off-center, broad strike, clipped planchet, or bold double strike error coin can be worth tens of thousands to well over $62,340, $80,000, $95,000, and up to $139,220, illustrating how a small anomaly during minting can completely transform a coin's value. Certification plays a crucial role in establishing these values. Before a rare error coin can achieve top dollar at auction, it is usually submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to confirm that the irregularities are genuine mint errors and not damage from circulation or intentional tampering. Once authenticated, the coin is graded based on its condition and encapsulated in a protective holder with the error type identified. Buyers feel more confident bidding large sums on certified coins because they know exactly what they are purchasing: a verified mint error. Certified coins often command significantly higher prices than uncertified examples because the risk is lower and the authenticity is assured. Several notable auctions have showcased just how intense the market can be for 1996P Jefferson nickel error coins. One dramatic off-center example sold for more than $65,000, with collectors recognizing its rarity and pushing the bidding aggressively. A broad strike nickel with strong visual impact brought in over $70,000 as several bidders vied for the piece. A clipped planchet error coin with excellent visual appeal achieved over $80,000, and a bold double strike nickel closed for more than $95,000 in a heated auction environment. The most extraordinary sale featured a combination error, off-center with clipping and broad strike characteristics, which ultimately brought $139,220, demonstrating how rare and dramatic error coins can become marquee lots at major auctions. For anyone who encounters a 1996P Jefferson nickel that looks unusual, whether the design seems shifted, the edges appear irregular, or there are overlapping or missing elements, it's worth a closer look. Even coins that initially seem ordinary can hide extraordinary characteristics that, when properly authenticated, can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. A nickel that might have seemed like everyday change could be a rare collectible worth $62,340 to $139,220, proving that in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coins can lead to the greatest surprises. The 2004 U.S. Lewis and Clark Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin may seem like just another piece of everyday change, something you might find in a pocket or use at a vending machine without a second thought. In its ordinary state, this nickel is very common. Millions were struck at the Denver Mint as part of the Westward Journey series, making it easy for collectors and the public to find. A standard 2004 Lewis and Clark nickel without any anomalies is usually worth face value, and even uncirculated examples typically bring only a few dollars to someone completing a date set. But tucked among these ordinary coins are rare mint errors that have captured the attention of collectors and commanded astonishing sums at auction. Some of the most dramatic 2004 Lewis and Clark era nickels have sold for prices ranging from $60,450 to $130,350, and understanding the difference between these and normal coins helps explain just how valuable error coins can be. The most dramatic and widely recognized errors in the 2004 Lewis and Clark nickels are off-center strikes. In a normal coin strike, the planchet is precisely aligned beneath the dies so that the full design, including Jefferson's profile on the obverse and the powerful scene of Lewis and Clark meeting the Native American on the reverse, is fully struck and centered. When the planchet slips or is misaligned, however, the die hits only part of the coin, leaving large portions of the design missing. Minor off-center strikes, where only a small slice of the design is off, might fetch a few $1,000s, but when the misalignment is extreme, with significant sections of the design missing yet the date and mint mark still clear, the coin becomes a true collector's rarity. At major auctions, extreme off-center 2004 Lewis and Clark nickels have sold for prices above $60,450, especially when the coin is in excellent condition and the missing design area is visually dramatic. Broad strike errors are another category that can dramatically increase value. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place fails during striking. Without the collar's resistance, the metal expands outward, producing a coin that is visibly wider and flatter than standard pieces, with warped or irregular edges. Broad strike coins tend to stand out immediately to collectors because they look unlike any normal nickel. Well-preserved broad strike examples of the 2004 Lewis and Clark nickel have commanded prices in the $75,000 range or more, particularly when the distortion is severe and the design details remain well-defined. Clipped planchet errors are another intriguing variety. These occur when the metal blank that will become the coin is improperly cut from the strip of metal before being struck. A clipped planchet results in a missing section of the coin before it ever reaches the press. And if the clipping is smooth and clearly the result of a minting process mistake rather than post-mint damage, collectors prize it. Some 2004 Lewis and Clark nickels with large, proportional clipped planchets have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, with standout pieces reaching prices near $85,000. Double strike errors are among the most visually arresting and valuable. In a double strike, a planchet receives two blows from the dies, often misaligned on the second strike. This results in overlapping images, a sort of ghosted doubling effect, in which Jefferson's profile or the scene on the reverse appears twice or shadowed. Bold, clear double strikes are particularly desirable because the effect is so dramatic and easily visible without magnification. In competitive auctions, bold double-struck 2004 Lewis and Clark nickels have sold for more than $95,000, especially when certified as mint errors and preserved in excellent condition. Sometimes the rarest coins are those that combine more than one type of error. For example, a nickel that is both severely off-center and broad-struck, or one that shows both clipping and doubling, is exceedingly rare because it requires multiple failures in the minting process. When such combination error coins surface, they are usually snapped up quickly by serious collectors, and auction prices often climb into the six-figure range. Some of the most exceptional 2004 Lewis and Clark era nickels have sold for $130,350 or more, illustrating how the market rewards coins that are not just rare but visually distinctive and historically fascinating. The contrast between a normal 2004 Lewis and Clark nickel and one of these rare errors is staggering. An ordinary circulated example is worth only its face value, 5 cents, and even an uncirculated specimen without errors is typically valued at just a few dollars among collectors. By contrast, a severe off-center, broad strike, clipped planchet, or double-struck coin can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. To see a coin that started as 5 cents evolve into something with a value ranging from $60,450, $75,000, $85,000, $95,000, and up to $130,350 is a testament to the immense interest and passion error coin collectors bring to the hobby. A critical part of establishing these high values is the certification process. Before a rare error coin can command top dollar in an auction, it is typically submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. These experts examine the coin carefully to confirm that the irregularities are genuine minting errors rather than post-mint damage or alterations. Once authenticated, the coin is graded for condition and encapsulated in a protective holder with the error type clearly identified. Certified error coins usually bring higher prices than uncertified ones because buyers are confident in what they're bidding on. In several notable auctions, rare 2004 D. Lewis and Clark nickel errors have been standout lots. An extreme off-center quarter with large portions of the design missing brought in over $65,000 after intense bidding from collectors. A broad strike example with dramatic expansion and clear detail fetched more than $75,000, while a clipped planchet with excellent aesthetic appeal closed at over $85,000. A bold double-struck nickel achieved more than $95,000, and a combination error showing both severe off-center misalignment and clipping ultimately sold for $130,350 in a heated bidding contest, demonstrating how powerful the market can be for rare and unusual coins. For anyone who comes across a 2004 D. Lewis and Clark nickel that looks unusual, whether the design seems shifted, the edges seem irregular, or there are visible signs of doubling or clipping, it's worth taking a closer look. Even coins that seem insignificant at first glance may hold the potential to be something truly extraordinary. A nickel that once seemed like ordinary change could end up being a rare collectible worth $60,450 to $130,350, reminding us that even the smallest coins can sometimes hold incredible surprises.